One of the greatest combat sports athletes this country has ever produced is right here.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your main event.
Live from HBF Stadium Festival Hall. Melbourne Pavilion. Not even backstage, we're literally outside.
Was that the best fight card in Australian MMA history?
Call me crazy, but make sure you call me when I'm right.
Be good if the Aussie MMA Instagram page would give us a bit of glow up because
welcome to the Australian MMA podcast. My name is Mitch Tinley, and today's guest is none other than Mr. John Wayne Parr, the gunslinger. Perhaps one of the greatest combat sports athletes we've ever produced in this country, and without a doubt, the best and most influential Muay Thai fighters this country has ever produced. He's had nearly 150 Muay Thai fights. He's had a slew of professional boxing. He even got a victory over the great Anthony Mundine. He is the creator of caged Muay Thai, which you see all around. He is probably one of the first Westerners to really make any sort of wave in Muay Thai. And although this is a mixed martial arts podcast, Muay Thai is very, very important and instrumental in sort of how our great sport comes about. John Wayne Parr, if you know anything about the sport, is probably in the Mount Rushmore of influences in terms of combat sport. And if you don't know why, perhaps continue to listen, because you will find out why. You ask anyone in the sport who is important, they will tell you that John Wayne Parr is up the very top of why this sport sort of even evolved. So it's good to hear from John Wayne Parr. He talks about sort of some recent health developments where he's actually developed some sort of tics, which you're going to hear. So if you hear sort of some long pauses or whatnot, he goes on to explain it, but it's as a result of fighting. So putting on the great shows, he's now sort of living with sort of the aftermath of that. He tells some amazing stories about how he nearly got killed in Thailand, how he got deported and put in prison in America. It's just he's just one of the most lived men that you will ever see. Now, I know it's a bit of a long intro. You can skip through to the Timecodes if you're on YouTube or Spotify. Just pick the sort of bits you want to get to, especially if you want to skip this bit. But do yourself a favour. John Wayne Parr, the fighter, with Jared Boyle, his good friend that wrote this, The Legendary Life of an Australian Champion. Go pick it up from every bookstore that you like to attend to. Go check it out online. The man deserves it, and it's a hell of a read. So, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to hear from our good friends at Vex, and on the other side, the gunslinger, John Wayne Parr.
PRP Global and Vex have joined forces, so keep an eye out. Launching mid-November, they've got a new Vex website and new MMA fightwear range releasing shortly. Vex, designed for combat and worn by the best in Australia.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. A very special guest from another world that MMA fans might not be too familiar with, but everyone who likes punching and kicking is familiar with this man, the legendary John Wayne Parr, and his cat.
Yeah, this is my pussy.
Yeah, are you a cat man? I didn't take you as a cat man.
So I've had 3 animals die this year.
Oh.
And then my wife just got me this one only like 2 weeks ago. So it's just filling a void. It's been very, very rough. I lost 2 dogs, so it was very rough. That was a rough reference. That was a dog reference.
Wait, you know what's funny is I laughed straight away, and then I was like, oh no, hopefully this wasn't a joke. Well, I was just saying, like, I follow you on social media. Everyone might follow you for Muay Thai advice, maybe your career. I follow for your non-stop dad jokes.
Yeah. No, thank you. I've been in the combat sports for so long, and that's all I know. You're just bouncing off other fighters, and so in the gym it's always comedic. So and you can't waste it. They're so good. So and then everyone can. I'm so lucky that on social media everyone can relate, because it's all social media based, and I'm martial arts based. So yeah, it's always a good punchline. That was good.
No, you're better than that.
Straight over, like you just pretend it didn't happen. And that was a good punch. That was good.
You're better than that, John. Were you like that in your fight career? Like, were you cracking jokes backstage and shit?
So what happened? I went to 11 different schools growing up, and I learned that humor was my safety humor was a way of making people not want to hurt me. Yeah, because I was always the new kid. Every time I go to a new school, I'd be always friendless. So and I knew humor. So and then people, oh, you're the funny guy, and then I could make friends easier. So it's like a yeah, what I don't know what you call it, a safety mechanism. And then now it's stuck with me. Now I can't get rid of it.
Yeah. Why'd you go to 11 different schools?
My parents are horse trainers, and then so every time we'd move, we're getting better jobs and live with different horse properties, and but I was always isolated. I'd be an only child living on 40 acres, and then school would be like a 20-minute bus ride, and so I'd wake up, my parents would already be at work. I go to school by myself. I come back from school and they'd be at work until like 6:30. And then by the time they got home, we'd have time for dinner, and then they go to bed because they've got to wake up at 3 again the next day. So, yeah, I was just, and then just so I was gonna make some friends, we'd move home again, and then I'd be the new kid again. So I was always by myself. I've always been by myself my whole life, and that's why I think I could go to Thailand so easy and adapt, because I'm so used to being by myself and not having to rely on anyone else. So it's just normal for to live there for 4 years and not have any, not miss home because I don't have a home.
Is sort of riding horses, is that a passion of yours?
I don't know. That was my dad. My mum and dad were jockeys, and then once dad started getting too big, he became a horse trainer, and then he was really respected in the industry. And then yeah, got to work for some amazing companies, and got to work at all the massive horse racing tracks, and so that was my life from the time I could walk, was picking up horse poo, filling up water buckets. And then I had a fascination for martial arts from about 4 years old, and then from that moment, I fell off the horse when I was about 4, got a blood nose. I said, I'm done. So I just want to fight now. And then I just watched Monkey Magic and Karate Kids, and Karate Kid was relevant because it was about a kid going to school, being the new kid and getting picked on, and having martial arts to fall back on, so I could 100% relate. And then everywhere I went, you'd always see different people with a different story saying, "Oh, martial arts. I started martial arts, but then I got the job. I started martial arts, but I got the girlfriend." So I don't want to be one of these guys with a story. I don't want to be that I could have, but I didn't. So I'm gonna, no matter location, work, girlfriend, nothing's gonna stop me from achieving to where I want to go. I don't care. You're either with me, you're in my way. And I've always taken that mentality. So, and that's why I've been so lucky to be where I am.
That's cool. Is there much, this is a weird question, but is there much similarities between horse training and fighter training?
Definitely. With because every morning you got to train the horses. And then on weekends, the horses still need to be fed, watered, clean their boxes, track work on the Saturday. And then they're racing every couple of weeks as well. So they're constantly, so exactly like a fighter. A horse is exactly the same as a fighter, and then you treat it like a horse as well. Well, once you're in the industry, your gym's your stable, and then the fighters are the horses, and then you have to make weight like a jockey. And so there's so many similarities. And then when I was a small boy, I remember Dad was doing boxing training to help lose weight, to make weight for the jockey. And then he had 3 amateur fights, and I remember I used to put him on a pedestal as one of my heroes because he'd been in the ring. And I didn't see the fights, but I just heard he had 3 fights. It's like, oh, my dad's a star. He's boxed. And then yeah, it was very. And then grade 10, I would have been 14. One day we went down to the sportsman's shop when Dad bought 2 pairs of 10-ounce gloves. And then we pushed the couches out in the lounge room, and then Mum was the timekeeper. And then yeah, and then Dad used to like spar me in the lounge room, and then it was so cool. I just have memories with your family too. Stuff that now my dad's passed. It's such a good reflection that we shared such a bond, and then he ended up being my biggest hero. So from someone that we started together, and then when you rise together, and then have your dad come internationally and come and support you in Japan and stuff. Yeah, it's so special to have that bond.
And you've obviously passed that on to your kids as well. Was there any sort of push in that, or were you just like, "Nah, I love this sport. I think you might love it too"?
No. Me and Angie have always said we're not gonna do anything. We'll let them come to us, asking if they want to train, asking if they want to compete. And then yeah, eventually, because we're also in that environment where every single day they have the opportunity that they're stuck. They got to go into work with you, and then they're watching the classes, and then they're forming friendships in a community with the little kids in classes, and then so after school, finish school, come home, get changed, grab something to eat, jump in the car, and then we're in the gym 20 minutes later. And then not once have the kids gone, oh, I'm sick of this. Or every single day they're in the car before we are. So it's really cool. And all three kids have that same passion. Jazzy's boxing, Jesse's jiu-jitsu, and Gemma's Muay Thai. So even though they're three different styles, it's still that competition based, knowing that we have to put the work in if we want to be successful.
Yeah, I mean, and is it interesting to see kind of where your kids are going? Like Jazzy's built a huge profile by herself already. Is it interesting to see her build up such a sort of great sort of profile?
Yep. I'm sorry, I have tics.
That's right.
Yeah, and so if I look like I was freaking out, then I have a little Tourette syndrome. I got it from fighting.
Yeah.
I never had it growing. I never had it growing up, and then the last 10 years, I've started having these tics where I have like a muscle contraction, and I'll have like a wave of a six, and then I'll stop for a couple of minutes, and I'll have another wave.
Really?
And I think it might be a form of CTE or something. I don't know what's going on.
Wow.
And now the last couple of months, so it's been going about 10 years, and then about the last couple months, my arm's involved now too. So now I've got this uncontrollable muscle spasm. It's so bizarre.
Wow.
It's so weird.
Wow. I thought it was like PTSD, like you were like shadow boxing. You were like, yeah, let's get it.
Yeah, there it is again.
What have you looked into it?
Yeah, see the arm. You see the arm.
That's
yeah,
crazy.
I've done a couple scientific. I put the like a swimming cap on, and it has all the leads, and you're in a dark room and flashes, and they can't quite find the thing yet. And I'm going by Google.
Well, I was going to say then, how do you feel then after this, like sort of amazing career, and then now you kind of maybe have to deal with something like this as a result of that? Do you regret it at all then?
No, hell no. No. Yeah, it's just part of the thing. It's all good.
That's that.
The only thing that sucks is when I'm in a strange environment where people don't know me and I start ticking, and then they go like, "Oh, what's going on?" And then you got to sort of tell. Once you say you got ticks, everyone understands. But yeah, it sort of sucks when you see people going, "Are you having a spasm?"
Is that the worst thing that's happened from fighting?
And my hip replacement and 350 stitches.
Nah, that's cool though.
Yeah. I beg to differ, sir. I beg to differ. Yeah. If you'd like to slay on the table and have the lady coming down with the thing straight into your eye, it's fucked. So I like your enthusiasm, but no.
The iconic photo of I don't know how you did it. Is it like where they got all of your stitches kind of all shown, like where it's like every cut you've ever had? I don't know if that was like some artist jumped in there or did it or something, but there's a pretty cool photo where every cut you've ever had is on your face. How did that happen?
So the history of that one is there's a famous ice hockey player from Canada, Terry Schrock or something, and then he was an ice hockey goalie before helmets. So Time magazine, he did the front cover with superimposed of over 400 stitches in his face. I thought it was so genius, and I had a photo shoot down in Melbourne for IK magazine, and I suggested the idea to the editor, and so we did a photo shoot, and then I replicated where all my scars are, and then they did the edits, and it came out really good. I have it on my favorites. It's and that doesn't count all the ones in my hairline either.
Yeah.
And I also got Barstooled when I was 19, so I have another 19, 14 down the back of my head.
What happened?
So we're in Pattaya in Thailand, Songkran. So Songkran's a water festival.
Yep.
So the whole country stops and plays water fights. And so some big like bodybuilder guy, he wets us. So we're waiting back, and he throws his bucket, gets all massive. He's about 6'3"-ish, like 120 kilos. And he goes, if you wet me one more time, I'm going to kill you. I'm like, oh, come on, man. He goes, are you French? And I shouldn't have said we, but I said we. And next minute, he's kicked me. Oh, shit. I guess so. I've run forward throwing punches, and I've never been in a street fight at that stage. So I've thrown a kick as well. And then I've fallen on my old forge. And as I was going to get up, I felt this massive whack on the back of my head. And I've jumped up, and then there's blood. Poof. And then my friend's got glasses from the bar, and he's throwing them at him to get them away from me. So my legs are a little bit like sort of, and then it was one of those out walking street. So you can imagine how busy it is.
Yeah.
And then as soon as my head got split, the whole street just went, whoa, the Red Sea. yeah. Everyone just went, whoa. And then so my friends come in and grab me. He goes, oh, do you know what happened? And so he must have had a ring on when he punched me. He goes, oh man, you didn't get punched, you just got Barstooled. We've jumped in a taxi, we've gone to the hospital. Even though he only hit me once, I've got 2 cuts, so I've got 7 stitches in one and 7 stitches in the other as well. So yeah, it was quite bizarre. So it cost me 5,000 baht to get stitched. So then they put some gauze over my head to keep it all intact. And we see a Thai guy the next day. He goes, "Hey, what happened to your head?" "I got hit with a Barstool." He goes, "You know, you can get money if you tell the coppers and then you get arrested. He can compensation." So we put in a police report. They said, "If you find him, let us know." So we've gone out. We've gone to the bar. He's hit me. Fuck, there he is. So we've gone and told the cops. Cops have gone and arrested him. Like a SWAT team's come in. They've taken him into the cop shop. I had to go with him as well. And I said, "All right, gentlemen, now you're both in the room at the same time. So what happened?" So, "Oh, yeah, I stole 5,000 baht." He goes, "How much do you want back? How much compensation?" "Well, the stitches were 5,000, so I want my money back if I could." He goes, "Oh, no, that's a pretty serious offense. So what we're going to do, we're going to keep him overnight and then come back in the morning." So as I was about to leave, the cop was like, "Hey, tomorrow when you come back, ask for 10,000. Cool, how good's this? So next morning I come back and then they're going, "Oh, no, see, the Polish gentleman, he needs to get money wired from Poland. So come back this afternoon." On the way out, he goes, "Hey, just ask for 20,000. So then come back in the afternoon and said, "Hey, the coppers met us at the door." He said, "We've got him so scared. We've told him if he doesn't pay the money by this afternoon that we're going to take him to Bangkok prison and how we're going to lock him up." And so we've ended up getting you 28,000 baht. "Oh, really? How good's this?" "Oh, amazing." So I'm in the office sort of thing, and I can see through the window that they're opening the cell and they've let him out. And it was like a 5 meter by 10 meter with about 30 dudes with a little like window thing there in 40-degree heat. And he was still in his going out clothes with his button-up shirt just opened up and just like logged, like in a sauna for however long, and hung over probably. And then they let him go. And then after he left, the cop was going, "Okay, you come with me." So we walked downstairs. He walks into the toilet. He walks into a cubicle. Gives me the "come here." So I walked in the cubicle with him. He goes, "All right, I'm actually not supposed to be working today, but I came in to help you out. So you owe me 8,000 baht." I'm like, "Oh yeah, there you go." He goes, "All right, yeah, you can go now." I'm like, "Fuck yeah, no worries." So yeah, so I got 28, but I had to pay the coppers 8 of it. So there was a very very early education on how Thailand works. So after that, people say, "Why are you so polite?" So I'm trying to live. I'm trying not to die.
Well, that's crazy. I mean, like, do you have that would happen a fair bit in Thailand, surely? But now, are you well known at all in Thailand, or is it just sort of like Muay Thai fans, or is it to the Thais you're just another white guy?
Oh no, I reckon if I went to the stadiums, I'd have a few people remember. It's like footy. If a footy person walked past me, unless I watch footy, I wouldn't know who the footy person was. Luckily,
Yeah.
Muay Thai is such a big thing in Thailand that mainly the punters. So when I was there, you don't go watch Muay Thai to watch Muay Thai. You go there to make money. It's like going to horse races.
Yeah.
You don't care. We're out watching a horse run around in a circle. You're only there to make money. So there's guys that don't have occupations. Their full-time job is betting on Muay Thai. So
Really?
every single day there's be a Muay Thai newspaper like the Form Guide, and it tell you every single fight, what happened yesterday, what's happening tonight, what's happening tomorrow. That then at the back of the thing that have like the list of the fights and the last 5 fights and the results, so you can sit there and you can do your studies and work out who you're gonna put your money on. And then once you go to the stadium, you're your own bookmaker. So every round the odds change of the fight. So if you're a smart fighter, you got a 5-round fight. You watch this guy dominate the first 2, so he might go to 5-1. And then this guy's been playing it safe, so then it changes around, and this guy starts dominating. Now it changes to like what 10-1. And then if you're smart enough, if you know how to put money on either guy, then you know how to make money from either one wins, depending if you know how to play the system correctly. So yeah, it's very similar to blood sport. When you see it, like, yeah, it's such a once you get into that world, it's so fascinating that how it's not just this is a cool sport. It's actually such a big business behind the scenes.
That's crazy. Did you ever?
Even the weigh-in, like they'll there's a big like chicken wire to stop the fans and the punters from watching. So you walk into this pen, and it could be like 10 deep of everyone watching you weigh in, and then you have to weigh in naked, and then there'll be a guy sitting across the room, and there's a big blackboard, and he's got chalk, and he'll yell across the room, "All right, John Wayne, 72." And it's like a proper it's full. It's like proper business. It's not like it's like going to the Melbourne Cup when you go to Bangkok Stadium. It's like going to the Melbourne Cup and you're the jockey and everything's official and it's like a big deal.
Did you ever get approached to throw fights?
No, I got accused of it, but I never did it.
Oh, really? What? Just because someone lost?
I lost. Yeah, I lost. I lost because I was sick, and then the trainers knew I was sick, but they wouldn't let me tell the main boss. They said, "Don't tell Pa. Don't tell." His name was Pa. It means dad. He was the dad of the camp, so his name was Pa. Everyone's like, "Don't tell Pa. Don't tell Pa." So then had to lose like 7 kilos, feeling like shit. Fevers, lethargics, everything sore. Crossing the ropes hurt. So the fight started. Little of the say, I think I got stopped in round 3 by leg kicks, and then next morning I wake up at 6 o'clock with the Thais calling my name, John Wayne, get downstairs right now. So I've come downstairs and everyone's standing in front of me. I say, all right, and then the pa's there with everyone. All right, tell me, did you or did you not throw that fight for money last night? I said, Pa, every single one of these people right here knew that I was sick, but they all told me not to tell you. They all knew I was sick. I said, I'm going to ask you one more time. Did you or did you not throw the money? Throw the fight? I said, mate, I 100% swear I didn't throw it. I was sick. I swear. So then Sengten, who's been with him for like 15 years, he goes, right, Sengten, my daughter, who was his girlfriend at the time. So that Sengten was going out with the boss's daughter. You, my daughter, and your kid, get out of my camp. You got 2 hours to get out of my camp. So I split up a camp after they'd been together for 15 years because they accused me of throwing a fight. It was so fucked, especially if you're the white dude standing in Bangkok, one of the biggest gyms in the world, and you just split up a family. That's like, oh, my soul just went, oh. It was very rough.
Was that
there's my tickies again.
Was that one of your scariest moments being in Thailand?
My most devastating and heartbreaking because it sort of ruins a friendship too. You care so much about someone, and then someone accuses you of doing something so wrong when they witness what you had to go through to, and then. Yeah, it's because it's not just a sport. You're a family. You live together 24/7, and you're so tight. And then it's just we amended after everything, but it's never the same.
Yeah, I was going to ask that. Like, do you still keep in touch with everyone that you were sort of so close with in Thailand?
He sort of died.
Oh, that's sad.
No, he died a couple of years ago. During COVID and stuff, things were pretty rough, and he's the Pa of the camp. Passed away of older age and complications, and then the next day, he didn't take the news very well.
Is it sad for you to sort of see, obviously, like all these people you grew up with and your older sort of people that you looked up to, and obviously as time goes by, people get older, people pass on type thing. Is that getting quite sort of sad to see those people that were so instrumental in your life sort of move on or pass away?
For sure. It's just part of life. What do you do? Just gotta have the memories. Yeah, it's like my dad. You feel so, but after that first month of devastation and depression, then you start just remembering the good times. So yeah, just like all the trainers and pad holders and sparring partners, it's all the same.
What was the hardest time in your career, either like personally or sort of like losses or anything? What was the one moment?
When Dad passed and I was fighting Yodson Glay in the contender final, that was fucked. Because I had to leave my car at Dad's house on the way to the airport to go fight the final, and for him to shuffle out and then be on his last couple of weeks dying of cancer, and then just the realization I was sitting in the plane for 8 hours going to Singapore, just your last memories of seeing your dad, and then getting dropped in the first and getting dropped in the second, and just having the image of this is the last time he's ever going to see me fight. If I don't get up, I'm an embarrassment. So, and then I finished the fight on my feet, went the full 5 rounds, didn't get the win, did my best. And then when I showed him, even though I lost, it was pretty.
In turn, then, what's your proudest moment?
S1 and King's birthday. So my both Bangkok world titles. So the first one I won was in front of 100,000 people in Bangkok. So have you ever seen the movie Kickboxer with Van Damme?
Yeah.
So at the start of the movie where they're kicking pads, and you don't win fights with that tip tap shit. So that park, I fought in that park 4 times.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and then I won my world title in 2000 in that park in front of 100,000 people, live on Thai TV against one of them, a Thai that had beaten me 3 years earlier by stopping him with elbows, and then 3 years later I rematched him, got my revenge, and then took his world title off him in front of everyone, and then 4 years later, 2004, I won another world title at Rajanathan Stadium. I won $1 million baht, a world title, and a trophy from the Prime Minister of Thailand, Thaksin Shinawatra, and that was on Thai TV too. So and because it was the largest prize money ever given at that stage, every single media outlet was really focused on it. So when I went on the next day, I went down to the news agent. Every single paper had my face on it, and then radio stations were calling, doing like interviews in Thai. Oh, so what happened was that my Thai trainer Sangten, he passes me the phone, and then we're talking about, I say, how's it going? And then because I can speak Thai, congratulations. So I hand the phone back, and then Sangten's like, yep. And then yes, his head like dropped. And then after the phone call, I said, oh, what happened? He said, the reporter asked me, how do you feel teaching a Westerner our style of our sport to beat us at our own game, to take $1 million baht currency out of our country? Like you're a traitor. And he's like, oh, but he's my brother. We've been living together for like over since 2006. So how am I not supposed to treat him like one of the family? Like I'm not going to train him. But yeah, they because it's like he sacrilege. Once in the 90s, it was very frowned upon to have Westerners in your gym because they didn't want to teach the Westerners their style, to have them beat us at their sport. So they were very like humbled about this is our sport, this is our culture, this is our heritage.
Wow. So how did that feel then? Did you feel like, I mean, I hate the term like reverse racism, but did you like feel it a little bit in Thailand?
I know I was because I was the only one. So what happened was the majority of the Westerners at that time, they'd fly in for a month and then they'd come in for a couple of weeks and they go. So, and then I'd stay there. The first one was 6 months and then a full year, another full year, another full year. And then even the Thais were like, when are you going to go home? Like, you're the only one that's ever done this. So at that stage, no one they'd stayed there full time and lived in a camp and become one. And then because I could speak Thai and everything as well, and then I would go to the stadium just to go and watch fights, and then you start getting recognized by the media and hanging in a bus driving to a fight show 12 hours with the Muay Thai magazines, and then getting a reputation. And it was just a really cool time. It was fun.
So did you get the cold shoulder from a few fighters where they're like, they didn't really want to get to know you because you were a Westerner?
I know, because we're all in that a community. The fight sport's a very small community, so you're doing. And then even when we fight, we have a respect for one another. So if I know I'm beating you and you know I'm beating you, I'll put my hand out and say, do you want to submit? And if you tap it for the next 30 seconds, we'll just stop on the spot and wait for the fight, because I don't want to damage you any more than I have to. And you're making money from the fighting. I'm making money from the fighting. I know you need this. You need your next fight to keep supporting yourself and your family. So I don't want to hurt you as much as I have to.
Is it frowned upon to take that offer then?
No, not if you're getting smashed. And you're not going to get more hurt. It's like an option. I can either keep hurting you or do you want to stop? And then if they don't tap, all right, sweet, I'll just elbow you in the face again. But if you want to stop, I'm happy to stop.
Isn't there like people betting on fights and stuff? So wouldn't they be mad?
But if you know you're getting smashed and there's only like another minute to go and there's no chance of winning, do you want another 10 stitches or do you want to just stop? Yeah.
Have you ever taken that?
It's like if you tap it, you're sort of a pussy.
That's kind of what I mean. Like, is it like, does anyone do it?
Yeah, I know a lot of people do it for sure. When pain's involved, it's an easy option to take. It's not like $5. I can either keep kicking and I can have you say not walking anymore, or do you want to keep walking?
That's fair.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the sport sounds amazing in Thailand. Why is it not?
So imagine in Australia, you got football and cricket, and the coverage is everywhere, and you know the life stories, and you go to their houses, and you meet the missus, and you see everything on telly and front pages every day, and then so imagine that, but fighting. It's amazing. There was a Muay Thai newspaper, like I was mentioning before. It comes out every single day, and then it gets delivered to your house, and it's only Muay Thai. So so every single, so you got your 9, your 7, your 10, your ABC. Every single station has a 2-hour time slot for a Muay Thai show, and they're all televised from a different stadium, and then different commentary, and then. But you know the fighters, you're not just red and blue. Or you know this guy's history, you know this guy's history, and this guy's a superstar. And then even taxis drive past and have pictures of the favorite fighters, like laminated onto their windscreen, and it's just huge. It's massive. It's so cool.
Is it kind of sad to then come to Australia and it's not talked about in the same light?
Sorta, yes and no. Because one time, so after I won that big one about the world title and the trophy and the million baht, I came back to Australia and I rang the Kieran Mail, and then this is 2004. So I was so excited. I rang the Kieran. I don't want to ring the Bulls and the Gold Coast Bulls, and that's a little pet. I'm not going to deal with this little paper. The local. I'm not ringing the local. I'm ringing the state paper. So I ring the Kieran Mail. Hey, I just won the world title, a million baht, and a trophy for the Prime Minister of Thailand. I had to fight three dudes in one like a couple hours. And she goes, I kind of feel you're exaggerating this story. So I'd suggest that you're in your local paper because we only follow football and cricket. So, and she didn't even say goodbye. She hung up on me. And I was like, welcome home. I'm back. And then in Thailand, I was on every single paper and blah, 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 as soon as I get home. But the beauty of being incognito is I was very fortunate to go and train with George St Pierre back in, it was 2014. I went and stayed with him for 2 weeks. He invited me to his camp to help him train for Hendrix. And then watching his daily life from waking up in the morning to leave when he goes home is just inundated with people like touching him and photos and people walking past being creepy with their phones. And he'd go to a restaurant, he'd take a mouthful, have to stand up. Sit down, take a mouthful, have to stand up. The manager come out, then the waiter come out, then the owner come out, then they're calling their friends. At one stage, let's say the gym was 300 meters away.
Yeah.
He said, he sticks his finger out to catch a tab. And I'm like, what? I can see the sign. Like, we can walk there. He goes, all right, watch this. An hour later, by the time we got stopped and cars screeching to a halt, and then it was like, I was like, this is nuts. It was like walking with Elvis. It was insane. I think because George is not only a UFC fighter, but the fact that he won the Canadian of the Year so many times as well, he's just like, he's on postage stamps and he's like the king. So, yeah, so it's like sometimes it's really good to be just like in the shadows and every now and again, hi, and then back in the shadows. That's way better.
Well, I like
So
it.
when I go overseas, I get to Japan. When I fought for K1, our hotel lobby would be inundated with like just fans between 20 to 50 people at a time, just waiting in the foyer the whole time. And as soon as the lift would open, all those people would rush towards the lift and you're getting photos and signing, and be 20 minutes to get to the hotel. You go get something to eat, whatever. And then you got to get 20 minutes on the way back in as well to get back to the lift again to get to these. And then, so you do that for a couple of days. And then when you get home, you go back to the serenity. But yeah, well, it's hectic and it's fun. But then, yeah, it's a nice place to visit. But yeah, screw that. I wouldn't want that all the time.
Yeah, I was gonna say, do you like the fame? Do you like the notoriety that you get?
Every now and again, I get a handshake or a g'day or yeah, that's cool. That's not necessarily recognized in that respect. But the way the poor old George. So even when he goes to the cubicle, he'll open the door and there'll be people waiting there to shake his hand. He's like, I just watched this first. It's like crazy. I was shocked after watching George's lifestyle. He's a prisoner of his own fame. Like he can't even, like when he goes to a club, he's got to have his security come with him. They got to stand in front of him, and they got to try and tell people not to use their flash. Otherwise, if the flash goes off, it's gonna fuck them right up. And yeah. And then every time we'd be in the car, every time we hit a red light, like people, cheers, boo, and it's like, and you gotta drive, do that little creep forward, so you just can't get that face to face thing. And it's like, yeah, everywhere just sucks. And it's like, oh, fuck this.
That's And Australia seems a little bit more relaxed too, as well, which probably helps.
Oh yeah, Australia's so cool.
Yeah,
Australia. Someone go, oh, there he is, and then just keep walking. They won't come over and bother you. It's really cool.
Yeah. Well, do your kids, friends, dads? Does anyone has anyone ever recognised you in that way?
So what happens if we go to the shops? My wife, she says sometimes she'll walk behind me a couple of meters on purpose, and then she watches people walk past, and as they walk past me, and then I look around at me, and then I tap the wife on the shoulder or something. She goes, they don't see me, see them looking at you. So yeah, she does a bit of spying for me. It's funny.
No, but that's cool because I mean, I wasn't even a Muay Thai guy, but like throughout my whole life, everyone knew John Wayne Parr. Everyone knew that name type thing, and it was really really cool. And I think like I saw little things like I think on the news once you got in trouble for putting Jazzy in a fight really early. Yeah, I remember that one, and that was cool. That was when I was like, oh, he seems like a really nice guy. I would have been quite young as well. I was really close friends. I went to school with Daniel Mini T. Williams. Nice. So obviously knew you a little bit there and the cage Muay Thai and all that sort of stuff. Of course, always just mentioned you to people, and then of course, it sort of culminates in the Anthony Mundine fight. That's when kind of
Hey,
the casual people, I think, like you've popped up to them. So you've been
yes.
around for just a really, really long time. And I think in saying all of that, what I kind of wanted to ask you is, was there anything of your career or your life? I mean, you even mentioned the ticks from fighting and stuff now as well. Is there anything that you wish you could have done differently?
I know you set them off. Damn it! Stop it. Oh, I have a thing now where I say stop too. It's part of the thing, and it's only started just recently. I'll
Oh.
get angry at myself because they won't stop stopping. So I'll yell stop all of a sudden. It's like fuck. Yeah. So yeah, it's slowly getting the things are getting worse. So we'll see what happens in a year's time. We'll come back and do an update and probably.
Well, before let you go, John Wayne Parr, did you write any of this book?
Yes, I started in 2002. I started tapping away 2002, trying to remember my memoirs while they're still fresh. And then a lot of the fights are still current. So while I'm fighting, I can still, I was feeling the emotion as I just had the fight.
Oh.
And then in about approximately 5 years ago, my friend Jared, who used to write for the IK magazine, uh, with a university degree in writing, I got to he got to give me a hand and help fix it all up. And then he carried on for my last few years, with Bellator and one championship. And then we were very lucky to speak to a publishing company, the same publishing company that did Mark Hunt's book. And yeah, they signed us up straight away. And so far, in a week, we've sold over 700 books. So yeah, it's very cool.
That's so cool. That's actually really, really cool.
And then it hits American bookstores in February.
Will it sell in Thailand?
I'm not sure, but the fact that it's going to America, and then my wife being American, so hopefully a lot of Americans can relate to the story as well, because I go to Vegas and then Victorville, live in San Diego for 6 months, and then I get deported and then come back to Australia and then set up the gym here and start our life here.
Is there a story in the book that you think everyone's really going to enjoy?
The deportations chapter is really cool, because I was working in a boxing club in San Diego and I was making 3,000 a month. But the only problem was my rent was 1,500 a month, so I was living on 1,500 for 4 weeks, and then I got the opportunity to fight for Tarek Solid down in Melbourne. No, on the Gold Coast versus Cenk Behi, for 5,000 bucks. Holy shit! So jumped on a plane, come back a week early, trained up. I won the fight, got 5,000 bucks, and then we hit Brisbane Airport, and they said, "Where's your return ticket?" I said, "Oh, I didn't pay for the ticket. I got a return ticket, but it's in America already." They said, "Unless you produce a return ticket, I can't let you get on this flight." And then my wife was 7 months pregnant, and then yeah, everything was in America. So what can I do? She said, "What you can do, you can buy a one-way ticket now, and then when you get to America, just refund it and get money." That's easy. How much is that? 4.5 grand. The plane's leaving in an hour. Do you want it or not? Oh, fuck. I got five. Sure. So I buy this ticket for 4.5 grand. Get to America, and then I get stopped at immigration. Okay, mate, when was the last time you were here? I was here about 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. How long were you here for? 3 months. 3 months? Mate, you can't be here for 3 months. You've only got a 90-day visa. So check the days. 92. 2 days over your visa. You're out of here, buddy. I get handcuffed. I get fucking security police. I get led through the airport. I get put in like a holding cell in the airport. So sitting there, and then 10 hours later, no, sorry. So my wife's 7 months pregnant, and then I said, you can't use this ticket. This is a 4.5 grand ticket. I've got another ticket, but it's in it's in San Diego. My wife's here. Is it okay if I get my wife to go get the other ticket, bring it back? And at first he was like, no. And then I was like, come on, man, I've got nothing. So I thought, sure. So Angie drove 3 hours to pick me up. She had to drive 3 hours to get the ticket, 3 hours back again to drop the ticket off, and then 3 hours home again. So all that time, so I get handcuffed, led to the airport, put in the holding part of the airport. And then 10 hours later, they come to my room. Oh, we have to move you to the other side. Every 10 hours by law, we have to move you. Handcuffed, security, coppers. And then I'm going through the airport in front of everybody. And then kids are like stopping their mum going, oh. I'm like, ah. And then so I get to the other thing. 10 hours pass, come to the room again. Hey, we've got to move you, handcuffed. Now it's the middle of the night. No one's in the airport. thank God no one can see me. Bad news is they take me outside, put me in a police car, and take me to East LA jail. And now I go to East LA. They check me in. Luckily, I'm the only person in my cell. I stay in the cell for like 8 hours. I get in the morning they come and get me. All right, time to go back to the airport, handcuffed, back in the police car. Now it's rush hour, LAX, going fucking people everywhere through the airport. All the coppers get, and then so you can imagine what it's like when the waiting for the board, the plane, the board, and everyone's waiting at the gate. They put me on the plane first, and with the coppers and the handcuffs, like Hannibal Lecter. It was fucked. It was fucked. So then they let people on the plane next, and everyone's seeing me trying to do the old. Ooh. It was terrible, and I haven't showered. It's 14 hours there. I've been held for 36 hours, and then I've got to fly 14 hours back without a shower. And I've been in cells and all these stuff as well. So I'm off. I'm embarrassed by myself. And then so I finally get back to Brisbane, and then it was like, I'm here again. What the? I get to the air counter. Can I please return this ticket? And they're like, oh, unfortunately, there's going to be an 8-week wait before we can refund you that 4.5 grand. So I've got $500. My missus is 7 months pregnant. She's in America. I got nowhere to live. I got no car. I got and then I had to start from $500 and rebuild. And now I own my house. I own my gym. I drive a Porsche. Life's all right.
That's incredible. So, I mean, there's no better reason than to pick up the fighter from John Wayne Parr. I'll finish this off because I don't want to take too much more of your time, but I ask everyone this that comes on the show. And after it's all said and done, how does John Wayne Parr want to be remembered in combat sports?
As one of Australia's greatest ever representatives of our country in combat sports.
That, sir, I think you are. So
thank you.
I really do. I really do. You transcend the rules of sport, and you really are. And one of these days, we're going to look back when we finally hold.
I've had more international fights than local national fights. Being based overseas for so long, like I've had 17 fights in Japan, 40 fights in Thailand, fought in America twice, England, America 3, England twice, Italy 3. And I've always told myself since the early age, to be a world champion, you got to fight all over the world. You can't be a one and stay at home, let people come to you, and you gotta be the bad guy. You gotta be have the people boo as you're walking in, have them cheer on the way out. That's the greatest feeling ever.
Honestly, it's incredible. You don't get the praise that you truly deserve. So hopefully one day people will know just what you've done for this sport and combat sports in general. So Mr. John Wayne Parr, thank you so much for joining me, and I hope everyone gets out there and buys your book. And anytime you want to come on and push anything, you're more than welcome.
Hey, thank you so much.
Thank you, brother.
Hey, that's fun. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.